William Shakespeare had a curse engraved on his tombstone to prevent anyone from moving the bones. Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare is one of his most famous sonnets. It was first published in 1609 as part of a collection of 154 sonnets, and it is considered to be one of Shakespeare's most powerful and influential works. The poem is a classic example of a Shakespearean sonnet consisting of 14 lines with a rhyme scheme of ABAB, CD, EFGG. William Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a famous English poet and playwright, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. His extant works, including some collaborations, consist of about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, two long narrative poems, two epitaphs on a man named John Combe, one epitaph on Elias James, and several other poems. His plays have been translated into every major living language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. Works of Shakespeare. At the time of Shakespeare's death, 21 plays existed in manuscripts in the various theatres. A few others had already been printed in quarto form, and the latter are the only publications that could possibly have met with the poet's own approval. More probably, they were taken down in shorthand by some listener at the play and then pirated by some publisher for his own profit. The first printed collection of his plays, now called the First Folio 1623, was made by two actors, Hamming and Condell, who asserted that they had access to the papers of the poet and had made a perfect addition in order to keep the memory of so worthy a friend and fellow alive. Works of Shakespeare. This contains 36 of the 37 plays generally attributed to Shakespeare, Pericles being omitted. This celebrated first folio was printed from playhouse manuscripts and from printed quartos containing many notes and changes by individual actors and stage managers. Moreover, it was full of typographical errors, though the editors alleged great care and accuracy, and so, though it is the only authoritative edition we have, it is of little value in determining the dates or the classification of the plays as they existed in Shakespeare's mind. Shakespeare's Poems, Part 1. It is generally asserted that if Shakespeare had written no plays, his poems alone would have given him a commanding place in the Elizabethan age. Nevertheless, in the various histories of our literature, there is apparent a desire to praise and pass over all but the sonnets as rapidly as possible, and the reason may be stated frankly. His two long poems, Venus and Adonis and The Rape of Lucrece, contains much poetic fancy, but it must be said of both that the subjects are unpleasant and that they are dragged out to unnecessary length in order to show the play of youthful imagination. They were extremely popular in Shakespeare's day, but in comparison with his great dramatic works, these poems are now of minor importance. Shakespeare's Poems, Part 2. Shakespeare's sonnets, 154 in number, are the only direct expression of the poet's own feelings that we possess, for his plays are the most impersonal in all literature. They were published together in 1609, but if they had any unity in Shakespeare's mind, their plan and purpose are hard to discover. By some critics, they are regarded as mere literary exercises, by others as the expression of some personal grief during the third period of the poet's literary career. Still others taking a hint from the sonnet beginning two loves I have of comfort and desire. Divide them all into two classes addressed to a man who was Shakespeare's friend and to a woman who disdained his love. Shakespeare's Poems, Part 3. The reader will avoid such classifications and read a few sonnets, like the 29th, for instance, and let them speak their own message. A few are trivial and artificial enough, suggesting the elaborate exercises of a piano player, but the majority are remarkable for their subtle thought and exquisite expression.